Hey everybody, and welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. As you can hear, I'm a bit under the weather, but I was too excited to sit in bed and be sick when I've got projects like this sitting in the garage. In a previous video, you saw us do an Evil Energy valve cover, and today we are going to finish plumbing that up. If you are here to see the PTFE how-to, we're going to jump right into it because obviously I can't talk very long because my throat is hurting pretty bad. So we'll make this introduction pretty short. I've got a couple pieces here that we're going to go over. Before we do that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like if you enjoy this type of content. Also make sure to check us out on Instagram, Tenza_Motorsports. The other thing I want to talk about real quick is the 25th of March, so here in just a few days is the end of Evil Energy sale. So this discount code right here works until the 25th of March 2026, and anything past that you can use this discount code here, and that will work all the time. Everything I use today will be linked down in the description below. So let's get this popped open. We'll show you how to use the PTFE line, and then we'll continue to get this all plumbed up, and I'll show you how easy it is to get this valve cover in your M54 engine and get it ready to go. So this is an AN6 kit. I got 20 feet of it, and this is what it comes with. So there's your 20 feet of hose. Evil Energy sends you a bunch of connectors. So there is connectors that hold two lines together if you've got them running side by side. 4 straight ones, 2 180s, you've got 2 45s, and you've got 2 90s. They give you an instruction manual. It's pretty simple to do this, but it's always better to have somebody, you know, show and walk you through it than just reading instructions off a piece of paper. And then here is the tool right here. The PTFE lines are the ones identifiable by this plastic inner instead of it being a braided rubber hose, and these are E85 rated. All right, this is a pretty simple process. We'll start by undoing this a little bit and giving us some hose, and then obviously it's really nice to work on the factory ends. When you cut this stuff, you got to be really careful not to fray it. So when you first pull this apart, you've got a couple different pieces here. So you've got the AN. This is the female AN side. This is a locking nut, and then this is the inserted piece that you actually sit in between the plastic inner and the braided outside. So we'll take this fitting here with the thread side facing towards the opening, and this is basically the only part that needs to happen before it starts to fray, because now we're actually going to purposely fray it by shoving this in between the braided protector and the inner plastic line. Now that I've got this pulled away just a little bit, we can start this insert. We'll use the tool here, and you just push it on like that, and you can tap on this. I'm just going to try to push it. We'll see if we can do it by hand here real quick. Hey, that's not too bad. All right, and it'd be kind of hard to see on camera, but you want to see the white right up against, there's an inner lip at the very edge of this. You want to see the white all the way up into there. Once you're to that point, slide this one in, and then just tighten it up. As long as you can get this piece over your hose initially, the fraying doesn't really cause a lot of issues, where on the other style, fraying causes it to leak and all sorts of crap. So as long as you can get this first piece slid on, you actually purposely fray the hose just slightly to get your interim piece in there. And then all we will do from here is tighten it up the rest of the way. So pretty simple stuff. And now that we've got this, we're going to cut this up a little bit, and I'm going to show how I got this to run the crankcase ventilation. I've got a vented catch can. I'll have one of those linked down in the description below as well. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty easy install. So hopefully you can see everything that's going on here. But in the previous video, we talked about how we were going to cap this off. So that's going to stay capped off. And then the crankcase vent is going to come from here. So I'm going to run that line up and over, and then into here, and then I've got another 90 degree, so you can see a 90 degree here, and then I've got another 90 degree that I'll run into the catch can, and then I have an AN6 to AN10 converter because this is an AN10 line, and then that way we're all good to go. You could run 2 if you think you need more crankcase vent, but I was told that we should only need 1, which means that if you needed to do like an oil return, for if you're doing like a turbo system or something like that, you could definitely use one of these for oil and then one of them for your catch can. Here is my old one, so let's get the old one out of there real quick here. All right, here is the AN6 to AN10 little converter piece here. Nothing super crazy, it just allows you to now go to the larger size. So this is going to go on the bottom port of the catch can, and then we'll come up out of here like this. Sorry, it's gonna be kind of hard to see this, but I'll mount that there, and we'll come up out of this. And then because we're going to this, we're probably gonna have to, you know, we'll make a big loop so that we're not like crimping or cutting the line or anything like that. It would probably be actually better in terms of like how the line's routed to come up to here, but I don't want to run a line along the top just for looks wise. I could also run a 180 right here, I guess. Maybe something like that. So I just have to, this is, again, completely up to whoever's putting it on. You just kind of have to figure out what would be best for you. So I think the 90 degree coming out of here, I'll make sure this fits. Yep, looks like that'll work just fine. And I'll show some close-ups when we've got that all put together. Now that we've got all that done, I am now going to show how to repin from the M54, the earlier M54, over to the pencil style coil packs. So to start, I do have an M56 valve cover and an M56 electrical bar here. Now, this one actually screwed into the valve cover. So this is slightly different because I think the other one just kind of click in. All right, here is the little kit. This was like $12. It's just a couple keychains full of some pin releases. So we'll probably use, I think it looks like that one right there, the 2-prong ones. It allows us to release a couple of these pins, and then there's a diagram on how to put them back in. And I will have that up here. This is the one that I found online. This is the one I'll be using. So we're gonna start this by removing this outer cover, this black piece here. You can see there's a clip there. The other side, there's one right there. And then this will slide straight that way. And then you want to keep this handy because this actually tells you what pin out they are. So 1, 2, 3 along the top, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you can see the numbers there. So we're going to remove this, and then I'm going to pull out all of these. The only one that stays the same, I believe, is that middle brown one. I think that stays the same. All right, a couple tricks on how to get these out. You can see here that the plug is upright. So this would be like, if you're reading these numbers here, 1 through 9, this key goes in upright, so vertically. You want to make sure you try to center it in the space here because you do have some room to move back and forth. And when you push it in, what you're doing, let's see if I can show this off. You are releasing these 2 tabs in the back. So the best way to do this, I fought this quite a bit. As you can see here, I did stab my finger and broke my fingernail. But what I ended up doing was when you get this in here and you center it, you push it. I don't need to actually remove this one, but so we'll go to here to the side. You'll push it in as far as you can. I did remove it from the rest of the key rings because I felt like it was actually slightly easier to do it just individual. Be careful not to bend this. You'll push it in really far, and then you'll push the wire in at the same time and push this. So you're pushing them together, and then the wire should slide out. Other than that, it wasn't that difficult to do. So now that we've got all these removed, we will now repin them, and you just click them in using your 1 through 9, and that's it. All right, so now that we've got this repinned and it looks good to go, we'll slide this cover back over it. Now this one here, you do have to change out the plug. We're now going to go and grab the old coil pack harness off the car. All right, tracing over our coil pack wiring, here is the harness itself. So you've got this little white plug here, and this is the one that we're going to swap out because this is not the correct style. So we're going to need to move this plug over to the other harness, and then here is that one that we just repinned. So we'll just pull this out of here. I do have this zip tied across my strut tower bar, so I'll have to remove that, and then all we're gonna do from here is cut this. Again, I'm gonna leave enough lead on it to swap it back and forth if I ever needed to, or again, maybe I might do a plug on it. We'll see. There's enough room in here to do that if I needed to. I have decided to do a plug on this. So I have my little kit here. These are fairly cheap. I think these are like 20, 30, 40 bucks kind of stuff on Amazon. And I'm going to take the 2-wire plug. I'll cut this off. I'll put one end on this side. I'll put this on the side that's coming from the vehicle, and we'll go and grab that in just a moment. And then that way, if I want to, I can swap these back and forth. Again, I don't know why I would need to do that, but I've got a kit to be able to do that, so this is not mandatory. If you do this permanently, make sure you make this connection really secure, solder, something like that, a really good crimp, but don't like those really like cheap splice connectors. You don't want to do anything like that. So there's what that looks like. And let me get this put in real quick here, and I'll show you what that looks like all plugged in, and just show you how much space we have in here. So if you do want to do something like this, you do absolutely have the room. And that's what that looks like installed. And this little rubber block fits in the exact same location, and there is plenty of room to stick that cover back on there. But at this point, we're getting really close to being done with the install. I've just got a couple things laying in there because I want to show everybody how this looks. The harness that I have for the M56 engine wants to come up this way, so I just want to kind of lay that so it comes up and then across my strut tower bar like that, and I'll run it over just like I did earlier. And the other thing that we talked about in the previous video when we were putting this on was that there is going to be a gap. So the gap, this gap is actually slightly large right now because I don't have it all the way bolted down, but the gap will look something like that. Honestly, even with recording, I've been in my garage for about 3 hours. So it's really not that bad. Any comments or questions, leave them down in the comment section below. Again, if you're watching this before the 25th of March, 2026, this code right here. If you're watching any other time, this code right here. This 10% off one works all the time. Thanks so much for watching. I'll link everything we were using today, including some of the tools, down in the description below. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bam!